Hi! Today I want to share with you the 4 plants that I'm surrounded by. All 4 of these plants were rescued from, they were going to be thrown away. They were on the garbage pallet. And so I bought them each for $5. And 4 years later, I have these amazing show-stopping plants. So I wanted to just kind of briefly talk to you about how I grew them, why I grew them, and what our future plans are, because we do have future plans. So I hope you stick around for that. I'm going to start with, I think I'll leave the big girl for last, but I want to start with this beauty right over here next to me. Sorry, I'm going to put my little remote control in my pocket. And this is a spider plant. Like I said, all of these plants were $5. Oh, she's heavy. Were $5 originally. This is her front. And you can see she's she's sizable. When I bought her, the soil was, it was like cement. It wasn't holding any water. And when I first brought her home, I let her sit in her original situation because I didn't see any pests or anything. But after a year, she was doing really, really well. So I went ahead and transplanted her. This is her first transplant. And I think she's doing really great. This year, she's probably going to get another transplant because she's getting, well, she's big. The next plant I'd like to talk to you about, ooh, there she goes. Okay. Actually, before I talk about that plant, the other thing I wanted to say about her was that I happened to pick her up because, yeah, she was crispy, but I could see there was a lot of life in her, and spider plants are renowned for basically living through anything, being bulletproof. And so I thought, well, I can probably do something with this. I wish I had pictures of all these plants when I originally brought them back, but I don't. I didn't know that they were going to live. So anyway, that's my spider plant. She's gorgeous. I'm super proud of her. And she's just a regular, common house plant. The next plant I want to point out to you, she's actually way in the back over there. She's a fiddly fig. And I'm just going to get up so you can see how big she is. I am nearly 6 feet tall, and yes, she needs a support, I know, but she's a good head taller than I am. And again, this was another plant that I thought, oh, she's got a little dust. I thought she was going to not live. And her leaves are, basically the length of my forearm, whatever that is. She doesn't look very big because of who she's next to. So I'll tell you a little bit about that fig girl in a minute. But the fiddly fig, I picked her up and it was kind of winter. It was late autumn when I picked her up 4 years ago. She was, I don't know, maybe a foot tall. So she's very happy. She grows very, very rapidly. And I'm going to have to give her a little bit of a haircut. So I'm kind of trying to figure out where I want her branching out. But we'll get to that in a minute. At any rate, one of the big things is that, people oftentimes they pick up these fiddly figs and they forget that some plants go dormant in the winter. So while this plant has a reputation of being very finicky, if you listen to what they're telling you, actually I found her, knock on wood, to be a very, very easy grow plant. I kind of just forget about her, honestly. But she is just beautiful. I love the bright veining in her leaves. And I'll give you a close-up of her at another time. Next one is a snake plant. This is a Laurentii, a snake plant, black coral. I'm going to see if I can pick her up so you can see how big she is. This is a very big plant. And she is, well, she's quite heavy. So let's see if I can get her up. Okay, she's basically like almost as big as me. Can you see how beautiful she is? Look at that. I mean, how cute is she? She needs to be watered again, but kind of all these plants do. God, my head looks tiny, doesn't it? She's so big. And you can't quite see, well, maybe you can. There's some little, I don't know, little branches here. I guess you can't see. She actually bloomed for me over the summer this year, which I was super, super jazzed about. Because I didn't even know that they did bloom. Put her back there. But they do. And it smelled like honeysuckle. It was really, really cool. I very much enjoyed seeing her bloom and seeing her grow. She's actually, well, I'll get into the future of these guys here in a minute. Behind me is obviously a Monstera deliciosa. And this little girl, she, when I bought her, again, off of the garbage heap, right? $5, and she was 3 little heart-shaped leaves, and she was the saddest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So I picked her up and brought her home, and I thought, well, you know, maybe it'll be a nice place for her to die. And she did not die. She absolutely has exploded. I don't know if you can see. This isn't her latest leaf. I can't reach the latest one. But she's got double fenestrations. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. But she's got double fenestrations, lots of perforations. Even this one right next to me. I remember when this leaf came in, I was like, oh my gosh, and I was so proud because it was the first time I had a double fenestration. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. So what my message to you today is, common plants are common for a reason, and if they're well grown, they can still be absolute showstoppers. So, you know, don't overlook the common variety plants. They're common for a reason. They're resilient, and if you give them the care that they need and the patience, they're going to reward you. So they're not, you know, they're not rare. They're not. This is just a plain green monstera, but I just think that emerald green is just so beautiful. Anyway, next step, I wanted to talk to you about our future. I already mentioned that the spider plant here, after she gets watered today, she's this heavy and I haven't even watered her yet. And you can tell she's a little bit droopy, but she's beautiful. She's going to get a bigger pot in the spring, I think. And I think I'm going to refresh her soil as well. I think her soil's a little bit tired. Yeah, you need some water, don't you, sweetie? So that's the plan for the spider plant. I'd love to get like one of is it a Hawaiian spider plant? I don't remember, but they're really pretty. I'd love to get one of those, try my hand at that. The fiddly fig, I'm going to chop her somewhere. I don't know exactly where. I'm still kind of trying to figure out where I'm going to chop her. And I know that I can actually force her to, or not force, encourage her to branch out by cutting little notches in the main trunk, which is, it's a good sized trunk now. What is it? It's about maybe a diameter of about 2 inches, I guess, 2.5, well, yeah, maybe closer to 2.5 to 3 inches, which is pretty great, right? And she was only transplanted once, so I think she's probably due this year anyway. So she'll get a transplant, as well as we'll deal with the height situation and get her some support. We all need a little support sometimes, right? the snake plant, formerly Sansevieria, now they're Dracaena. I think they were reclassified. And I believe it's a Laurentii black coral is the common name. And I'm actually going to be dividing her up a little bit, and I'll do a video on that, mainly because my mom wants a piece of her. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a bit off, and for some relatives that want a mature girl. And she's, gosh, she is something, isn't she? She's a little drippy on the top. That leaf is a little funny, but yeah, super excited to get her all sorted, and that way I don't have to put her in a heavier pot. That's one of the problems with these big plants, is they get really heavy. Well, that one did. The girl behind me, though, is kind of, I don't know, she wants to take over the world, I guess. I don't know. Gosh, she was such a sad thing when I brought her home, and it was basic, you know, taking care of her. I'll get into that really quickly, because the care for all these plants was almost entirely the same. They're all easy. But for her, I'm actually going to have to chop her, and I'm really, really unhappy about it. And that's actually why I'm doing this video, because she almost fell over last night. She's a little bit top heavy, so I have her kind of wedged so that she's stable, but she's gonna have to get the chop, and I'm so sad about that. And I don't know what I'm gonna chop her with, because she's, oh my gosh, how thick is that? That's like about yay big around. I don't know, what is that? That's like my finger size. I don't know. So I don't have pruning shears that are going to be able to cut her. So I think I'm gonna have to just use, what do you use, a machete? I don't know. But I'm gonna chop her into bits, and excuse me, and offer some mature cuttings to my friends and family. And because how often do you get an offer of a mature cutting from a Monstera deliciosa? Especially with double fenestrations, what? So I will put on the end of this video a close-up of her leaves, because I mean, it's absolute choice. It's beautiful. I very rarely see someone, even on Instagram, I'll see Monsteras, but they're a little more gangly, and they're not as mature as this girl is. So I was a little nervous at first that she was going to be a small form Monstera, but it turns out she is not a small form Monstera, and she's actually getting the rippling on the, what's it called, gentricula, the space like right behind the leaves. And the large form Monstera, it gets kind of ripply and wavy, and the small form, it doesn't. So she's getting her ripples in, which is kind of exciting. Anyway, so that's what her plan is. As far as care for all these plants, if they're growing, I fertilize them once a week. If they're not, I don't. And the reason why I put it that way, and not like in terms of seasons or whatever, is because I live in a really hot place. And so I run the air conditioning. So, and then in the winter, I run the heat. And as a result, my plants don't seem to really know what season it is. And so I would actually offer that to you as well, if you're looking for some advice. Don't go off of what the seasons are outside. Go off of what your plants tell you the season is, right? Right now, my fiddly fig is dormant, which is awesome because I don't have to water her at all. And she's really light. When I have to water, you know, she gets a little heavier with the waterlogged. Well, not waterlogged, but, you know, with water in the soil. This baby's always heavy, so that's just that she is what she is. But again, you know, with this one, I actually forget to water her because she's just always happy. I probably water her about once every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. And that's one of the beauties of the mature plants. I find they tend to not need as much care. They get comfortable where they're at. They deal with the situation and the conditions that you've provided them with. And you just don't have to do much in the way of care once they're established. That's been my experience. I don't know if that's your experience or not. The Monstera, she's a heavy feeder. She gets, I'm actually changing up her feed. I wipe her down with neem oil, I don't know, when she looks like she needs it, maybe every 2 weeks or so, 2 3 weeks. This one I never wipe her down. And the fiddly fig as well, she gets wiped down because they're easy to wipe down, right? My spider plant gets nothing. I water her when she looks like she's thirsty. I fertilize her maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks, depending on how fast she's growing. And that's about it. She's also a little droopy right now because she's sitting underneath a vent, but it's her favorite place. So she starts to get a little brown tips when I turn the heater on. But I think she's beautiful anyway. Anyway, I hope that is helpful to you as far as care. I hope it's helpful to you to, don't overlook those plants that are in the clearance section or that are being thrown out. You might get a really good deal. And with proper care and patience, you can end up with some really awesome showstoppers that didn't cost you anything. And that's the dog. I apologize for that. You have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.